Hello guys, hope you're all doing fine today. It's 9:54 a.m. Thursday morning here in Japan, January the 12th, 2023. Happy New Year everyone. I'm going to be talking about this flight. This is one of the flights that I have covered in the past. Qatar Airways Flight 726 from Chicago to Doha. This is the same flight in which a young man got sick during the flight and they had to make an emergency landing and they landed in Moscow. Qatar Airways aircraft en route from Chicago emergency lands at Moscow airport. And I was paying attention closely for 1 week before Christmas, every day checking this flight. You see here the speed at 641 miles per hour, that's ground speed. Planned 555 miles per hour. On another day, I was checking again, same flight, as you may see there. You see the speed changing, and this one recorded 689 miles per hour, planned 555 miles per hour. So you clearly see this flight is flying over 100 miles above what is supposed. This one, 678 miles per hour, and that was the following day. So they do record it daily, but if you go back after a couple of days, you will not find the information anymore. You're just gonna find 555 miles per hour. But this one you see, and the average was 689 miles per hour, an altitude of 35,000 feet. This one, 679 miles per hour, about 115 miles faster than the aircraft is designed to fly according to the company's statements. This one got a little bit faster, actually 200 miles above the maximum speed according to the company. This flight at 33,000 feet reached 754 miles per hour. That's 200 miles above the speed of this aircraft. As you see here, that's a Boeing 777-300ER. The top speed, according to the company, 575 miles per hour. But we see these flights flying at 200 miles above the speed according to the company. One thing you need to observe, this is not happening once every 2, 3, 4 months. Now this was every day. Every day I was checking before Christmas, the week before Christmas. So every day this flight was flying at least 100 miles above the speed which it was supposed to be flying.
On the 7th of January, a British Airways Boeing 777 flew from New York to London in just 5 hours and 16 minutes, instead of the usual 7 hours. An exceptionally short flight time for a subsonic commercial aircraft. The aircraft's engines had not been pushed more than usual, but had simply taken advantage of an exceptionally strong tailwind, with a speed of around 400 kilometers or 250 miles an hour. The aircraft thus attained a speed approaching 1,200 kilometers or 745 miles an hour, close to that of the sound barrier. There was no danger, however, concerning air friction on the fuselage, since the plane was flying with the wind, not against it.
So it's easy to understand how these flights in the South Seas, especially flights coming from Sydney to Santiago, can easily reach a speed of 250 miles per hour added to the speed of the aircraft. Here you have the emergency landing in Moscow back in 2016. You can easily understand the flight route going from Chicago to Doha has to fly above Moscow. So that's the reason they stopped in Moscow. If you look at the globe, this is the flight path according to the globe. You can see it flies in Saint-Pierre-de-Miquelon in Canada, and then flies over France and Greece, and the flight path is 1,000 miles south of Moscow, which makes no sense if you try to understand this emergency landing in Moscow. And you see the flight did go from Chicago to Doha and made an emergency landing at the Moscow airport. So it doesn't really make sense on the globe, it only makes sense on the flat earth map. If we trace this line on the globe, which is supposedly the Great Circle Route, you see how different it is, 1,000 miles or maybe more south of the so-called shortest route on the globe. Really doesn't make any sense. But in fact, this flight was flying and is flying over a flat Earth, not on a spinning ball Earth. So there you have it, commercial aircraft flying at a speed of 754 miles per hour on a daily basis. Not once in a lifetime, but on a daily basis. This flight is flying at least 100 miles above its supposed regular speed, proving that those aircrafts are flying at a much faster speed than we are told, than the system has allowed us to know. So that was all for today, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week again, talking about another flight. So see you next weekend.